The Story of an Hour by Kate Chopin. Music production by me, Joseph Bay. The first quote is as goes. She did not hear the story as many women have heard the same, with a paralyzed inability to accept its significance. She wept at once with a sudden wild abandonment in her sister's arms. When the storm of grief had spent itself, she went away to her room alone. She would have no one follow her. Page 14. This quote gave me an eerie, uncanny feeling because when she cried, she didn't cry for that long of a time, and a lot of people would cry for at least more than a couple of minutes, maybe at least 10 to 15 minutes because of a death of a loved one, and especially since it's her husband. A question that came into my mind was, how could this whole thing happen in just an hour? From her hearing about her husband's death, and then her crying and becoming mentally unstable. The scenario didn't seem real, so the scene didn't feel right either. I couldn't imagine Mrs. Mallard crying for that short of a time. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Chopin making this whole story an hour long is just completely unreasonable, I think. My second quote is as goes. But Richard was too late. When the doctors came, they said she had died of heart disease, of joy that kills. Page 15. Joy that kills? That must mean that she had been very happy that her husband died. But Chopin doesn't really give that much information about her husband and what kind of relationship they had. So how would the audience know? So, two questions that came to my mind was the husband abusive? And the other question was, did she hate her husband for some particular reason? Such as him not being responsible, or something else perhaps? Since the reader isn't given much information about the husband, it is open to interpretation by the audience. I'm very curious to know whether most people think the situation is plausible or not plausible, because everything happening in an hour seems very unlikely. Her hearing about the news and then later dying an hour later, it feels as if everything is not supposed to seem like it's plausible or it could happen. Thank you. That is my presentation on The Story of an Hour.